So there we are. Stop. I keep saying so. Stop doing that. Hello and welcome to another Cheating in the Kitchen with Fraser. Today we're going to cheat on time more than anything else, because what I'm going to do is to make a savoury sausage. We have a kilo of sausage meat. Now you can use chicken, or you can use beef, or you can use whatever you like. I have pork sausage here, and that's just as good to use as anything else because I choose to use it. And I have in the background a pot with water boiling. Now if you are in any way sensitive, you're not going to enjoy the next bit because it involves getting your hands wet. With the sausage meat in the bowl, we simply open up the 2 packets. Falafel mix, 150 grams, that's that. Sage and onion stuffing mix, this is a proprietary brand. Obviously black pepper because I don't use anything else. Little bit of salt with the chili, which we like. A little bit of chili and garlic, this is a slightly better grinder. A little bit of ground allspice, which goes quite well with pork. We're ready with the dry mixture. Next thing, the eggs. 1, 2, 3. So this is the gooey bit. Hands in and break the yolks and start squeezing it. The idea is that we get as much of the moisture soaking up as much of the dry goods as possible and doing that as evenly as possible. Just want to make sure that all of the dry goods are mixed up and leave it to rest for about 10 minutes, taking one of the portions out as best you can, approximately, and then working it into a nice tight block. This is actually my mother's recipe. I stole it years and years and years ago. She makes it slightly differently, but as I am always accused of adding too many twiddly bits, she doesn't really like my recipe now because I add things, and she's more of a purist. But then she did learn to cook these things when perhaps ingredients that we have today are maybe weren't as easily available. So I tend to want to maybe spice things up a little bit. And I certainly have a fairly savoury tooth, so I quite like the idea of spicy stuff rather than sweet stuff. All I'm going to do with these now is put all 6 of them into this boiling water and walk away for an hour.
One hour later.
The sausage is now out of the pot, it's stopped boiling, it's still very hot, so I'm going to have to be careful with what I do. Take the sausage out, snip the ends because there's not much more you can do with them. Try and unwrap this. Right, and this is the really tricky bit, is getting it from here to the drying rack. The next stage is to wrap them up in tin foil. And I generally do that when they're cold. But once they're wrapped up in tin foil, you can keep that in the fridge for about 4 days, and you can keep it in the freezer for about 4 weeks. That's a bit yummy. It's a bit very yummy. There it is, Cheating in the Kitchen number 3, savoury sausage. Nicely wrapped, ready to go into the fridge or the freezer. Thank you very much for joining us today, and we'll see you next time. Yummy.